This is a special segment from a year ago that I gave to my boxing audience on how Wilder should operate and fight this fight. This was a year ago, and it just so happened last night that game plan got implemented, and the rest is history. Check it out.
I'm gonna cut this very short because this breakdown is gonna give you true insight. When you're trying to go head on with a man that's 40 pounds your weight disadvantage, you're going to have a very tough night unless you land the dynamite. Now, cutting off the ring will allow that to happen. But what about the other 85% of the fight that you have to actually get punches off as well to do damage? I love the double hook to the body. I love the jab and then follow it with a straight right. But the thing about this is it's all about not just consistency, but something happening. So you have to take a look at this, the Ali drills. You have to pull a guy to you like Ali did, George Foreman like Ali did, Joe Frazier like Ali did, all of the guys, including Cleveland Williams. He pulled those guys to him, Sonny Liston, and he made them play their apple card. Boom, lights out with the 1-2. When you run a person into your punches, it hurts worse. The thing about it is this: taking those angles creates confusion, and it makes people who have very high IQs lose their composure. It looks like the strategy is lacking the most important thing, which is walking them into you. And that's how you deal with anybody that's slippery or stronger than you. You walk them into your punches, and that's off your back feet, like you see right here us doing. It's a reason why we do it. You float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. This is the power hand breakdown.
For all of you young coaches, I tried to really be really clear last year when Fury and Deontay Wilder fought. I tried to break down the game plan and let them know what they was supposed to do. And he didn't. And of course, it turned out like it did. What you just saw was shot in October 2021. That was a year ago. And so why I come to you guys to try to help you is to prevent you from having to go through losses, because it's depressing when you lose, and especially when it's a strategic loss. So that's what I said prior to the other fight. We actually took time to even reach out to the management team, because we wanted the belts in America, and we have common brain trust, right? So the biggest thing is, if you're working with athletes, do not make it about you. Do not let it be ego driven, because what'll come of it is you will lose, because there are levels and there is a map to winning fights at this level. That was just a little piece from that segment. The segment was 15, 20 minutes long, and it was full of every detail, all the things that you might think you're doing right, most likely are going to be the demise of your forward progress, because there's a book in a Bible of boxing. And if you don't know that vocabulary and you don't understand those things, that will happen to you. What happened to Wilder and Fury Wilder 3? And I'm a big Fury fan, but when it comes down to strategy, my thing is to take the underdog, just like Cambosis, and give them the insight. Cambosis came on our show. Listen, we bullet pointed it, gave him film study. He won against Lopez. He was crickets against Devin Haney both times, even fired his team. And then you see him in a position that he's in, which is now at a loss, another loss. Stock drops. And this is what's going to happen to coaches over and over and over again, because they're not crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and hooking the C's. They're not being educated. Knowing skills and stuff is not educated. Educated education is when you put it all together, fuse it all together, and then understand every scenario. We don't call it cognitive mastery. We don't call it emotional mastery. There are 3 levels of mastery. And the one that you must understand is when you come from a lineage, when all of this is inside of your head. Not only do you have to learn it, but you have to emotionally allow it to drive your muscle memory. And that leads you to the point of physical mastery. Emmanuel Stewart, the greatest who ever done it, Cus D'Amato told Muhammad Ali how Joe Frazier was going to beat him in the first fight. Understanding another level of boxing. Nobody out here really understands boxing like they think they do, right? Archie the Old Mongoose Moore was a world champion fighter and reigned for over a decade, but was so highly intelligent when it comes to boxing and the science, understood his entire physiology, wrapped his own hands, basically could have worked his own corner, would have been the only man to ever do it. But then came back and made a multitude of world champions, trained the top coaches. And because that's what you call physical mastery. There are levels to this thing. And there's so many of them. You think now that you got a level that you're on the level. It's not the case. And I just want to be here to prevent the game of boxing and people from getting hurt. Now think about this. Some coaches going out there naive to the fact of he does not know what he needs to know in order to win fights at the highest level. He doesn't know. So he's taking a fighter in that ring. And guess who has to pay the price for his lack of knowledge? The fighter. And he has to pay with his health. And it could be fatal. Now you tell me, would you not say to the coaches, hey, you need to step your game up and get educated? You don't know what you think you know. So many levels to this thing. But I always tell people before they start to commit to something and they don't really understand what they're getting into, just like right now, when you go into another level and you fighting something, you're being introduced to something that's not familiar to you. New level, new devil. This is another level of the game. The stuff you don't know. So that's what we're here to show you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that take. Continue blessings. Congratulations to the Bronze Bomber for coming back a year later with the game plan that I actually said a year ago for them to use. It came into play last night. So fortunately, the sport of boxing, a lot of people are listening to me, what I'm saying. And we know a lot of guys and coaches are listening, but you need to start taking action. Special shouts out to my brothers who are getting educated in the school of boxing. Top Trainer U, the most profound and premier boxing education institute that there is on the entire planet. 130 years. And I repeat, 130 years of the most gangster knowledge for boxing coaches and trainers that you'll ever learn, because it is the Bible and it is a lot for you to learn. So get your vocabulary. Like I always say, be guilty of being educated. Don't be guilty of being naive. New level, new devil. Don't let the devil pull you by the tail. And I see you guys soon. Special shouts. Holla at your boy. Like I said, congratulations to all the fighters. This is an epic fight weekend, and I look forward to continually educating you guys in the sport of boxing. Peace out.